Hello, everyone. It's Charlton. Please subscribe to my channel and tap the notification bell. I would appreciate it majorly. So there were protests throughout the night. They were pretty big, and in many major cities, not just Minneapolis. Actually, the incident that I'm here to tell you about is in Oakland, where a federal protection service officer, two of them were shot, and one was killed. And if the whether or not this is related to the protests, which one of the protests in Oakland, I think there was one by the interstate, where a large crowd of demonstrators blocked traffic, but and also one by the Oakland Police Department headquarters, which isn't far from where this shooting took place, where other officers were injured. There was a protest going on there. Whether or not that the shooting was related to the protests is not known. My guess is that it is. And basically, the way it's described, it sounds like, kind of like it was sort of targeted and maybe a retribution type killing. I mean, it's impossible for me to know that, but that would be my first instinct, just based on the location where it's located. It's only about a half mile from the Oakland Police Department headquarters where the protests were taking place. And it's at the Ronald V. Dellums Federal Building, which houses basically a U.S. courthouse. I think the IRS is there, the National Guard office is there, and something else. The Veterans Health Administration, Veterans Benefit Administration. That's a small picture of it right there. I don't have a picture of it up on the Google satellite maps at Street View. But here is where it was located relative to where the protests were taking place. This is the Oakland Police Department. This is 1301 Clay Street, where the Ronald V. Dellums buildings are. It's only about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 blocks up from it, half mile, 7-minute walk, and a car drove up. So these two federal protection service officers, which is basically a security police force for the Department of Homeland Security, I think their primary purpose is to protect Department of Homeland Security buildings, that house various departments of the government. A car drove up last night around 9:45 p.m., 9:45 California time, I'm assuming, Oakland time, which would be about almost 1 in the morning, 12:45 a.m. here on the East Coast in Philadelphia, And so it says a car pulled up to the Ronald V. Dellums Federal Building located at 1301 Clay Street in Oakland. A person in the car shot at the security officers for the Federal Protection Service of the Department of Homeland Security. According to the FBI, officials say one officer died and the other suffered injuries. Federal FBI San Francisco and Oakland Police Department continue to investigate the shooting. The Federal Protection Service provides law enforcement services at U.S. government facilities. So, I don't know. It would seem to me that this was related to the protest, and basically somebody kind of went outside of the main where the Oakland Police Department is, and something that's just kind of an easier target, and to shoot at and then escape quickly rather than opening fire at the Oakland Police Department headquarters. That would be my guess of how this went down. So I saw last night before I went to bed, and I was up late, and I saw around 3 or 4 in the morning when this was coming over the Daily Mail that President Trump has basically put a couple different army bases on warning, letting them know that they could be called up to be ready within 4 hours notice to go into Minneapolis if things don't calm down. And it says soldiers from Fort Bragg in North Carolina and Fort Drum in New York have been ordered to be ready to deploy within 4 hours of call. According to 3 people with direct knowledge of the orders, soldiers in Fort Carson in Colorado and Fort Riley in Kansas have been told to be ready within 24 hours. The people did not want their names to be names used because they were not authorized to discuss the preparation. So, this type of order hasn't been used since the Rodney King, riots, which were, I think, in 1992, I believe, but I'm not positive of that. So, but this I mean, and the riots or the protests were quite, pretty extreme overnight. And I know another person was shot in Detroit, not a police officer, but a protester, I believe. Somebody shot into the crowd in Detroit. They don't believe that it was any of the officers that were there protecting wherever they were protesting. I'm not super familiar with that. I'm just illustrating that, they were pretty extreme overnight. But this is the kind of thing that would almost give Trump an excuse to send in the military, And we'll see. But it says soldiers in North Carolina and New York must be ready to move into Minneapolis within 4 hours. It's the first time powers have been evoked since LA 1992 riots over the beating of Rodney King by officers. That's pretty much the story there. They don't know. I don't have a whole lot more information on the shooting of the Federal Protection Service officers. Two of them were shot, and one did die. Things are definitely getting worse, and it's growing for sure. And we'll see where this goes from here. All right, thanks for watching my videos. Please subscribe to my channel. Give me a like down below, and I will see you in the next video. Later, man.